Boom. What's good, y'all? It's Coach Mike D, and we have another marquee matchup, NFL breakdown. I know it's been a while since you guys have seen my beautiful face, except when we did the live stream for the East St. Louis Fire State Championship game. Well, we still got NFL football going on, and we still got college football going on. So content's gonna keep rolling and coming. So stay tuned. And before we get started, I want to definitely thank all of you from Nosebleed Nation for getting our channel up to 1,000 subscribers. That is significant. That is a huge, big deal. I want to send our love out to all of you. And please keep sharing the content, keep enjoying the content we're bringing along. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for helping us reach a milestone we've been looking for since we started this channel. So again, our hats off to you. You guys are wonderful, and we're going to keep it going. So we have a very big marquee matchup: Pittsburgh versus Ravens. It needs no introduction. This is one of the most heated rivalries in the National Football League in probably history, going along with the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. You're thinking about the Rams and the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. The list goes on and on most of these marquee rivalries, especially this time of the year. And I think the NFL has done a very good job of how they schedule these games, especially when they have such meaningful significance, especially around this time of year. And it gets nowhere near these two because how significant are these next games that are on the schedule? Because both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are both 6-6, and they're both 2-1 in the division. They are basically tied. So both these teams have 5 games left, and these games are important. They are significant as any coach would want to think of, that they would say about any type of game. But the last stretch is significant because this win is going to determine the winner of the AFC North division, and also who may be left out of the playoffs. And what also makes these games really significant is that the reemergence of the Bengals. The Bengals just got their starting quarterback back, Joe Burrow, who was out with a significant turf toe injury, and he showed himself to be back in full effect after the win against the Ravens. So this stuff is going to heat up. It's going to get real good. And also, these games are going to have big significance because both these coaches, Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh, potentially are on the hot seat to be able to lose their jobs. Of course, we've all heard the noise, especially the last loss the Steelers had, and the fans were hollering out, "Fire Mike Tomlin." Of course, we all know the buzz happening with John Harbaugh as well. Both these coaches are some of the most tenured in the National Football League. Mike Tomlin, 19 years, being the most tenured coach in all of 4 major sports in America. And of course, John Harbaugh, and being at 18 years in his position. The Steelers and the Ravens have played 63 times in this heated rivalry. That's why it's a rivalry game. 5 times they played in the playoffs. Right now, the Steelers own the record matchup win in the playoffs, having 3 wins to 2 losses for the Ravens. And right now, the Steelers hold the overall win record 36 to the Ravens 27. The last time these two teams met before this game was the first of 2. They're going to play in the last part of the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost a game 28-14 to the Baltimore Ravens on January 11, 2025 in a playoff game where we saw Derrick Henry rush 186 yards for 2 touchdowns. Baltimore had over 299 yards rushing, but they just ran down and threw to Pittsburgh. It was 21-0 at half, and they didn't have a chance. As you guys all know, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Hey, but I try to be objective in these breakdowns, even though I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and I can't stand the Ravens, but I have to keep it 100 and keep it down the middle when I'm doing my breakdown about how I see how this game's going to unfold and what's been happening to these 2 games all year. So let's go ahead and break it down and make sure we can get into it. Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh have met each other 39 times in this matchup, and Pittsburgh has had an issue all year with this crazy stuff. So let's break it down and see what we can do, and hopefully we can find out who's going to win this game and make it a marquee matchup. Now, Jim Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are significant in this matchup because they are second in the National Football League history as far as 2 coaches meeting each other in a rivalry game, behind Curly Lambeau and George Halas, who used to coach the Bears, and Curly Lambeau used to coach the Green Bay Packers. They have met 39 times they met each other in this matchup, and Mike Tomlin leads the win record with 21 wins and 18 losses. They're 2-2 in playoffs, so they are dead match when it comes to playoffs. And that's why these are such good games because of the history of what happens with them. Both these teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, as we have all seen all year, have been struggling. They're up and down all over the place. They have some good times and they have some bad times. In the last 5 games that they each have played, Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-3 in the last 4 games. Last 4 games, not 5. They're 1-3 in the last 5 matchups, and the Ravens are 3-1. So it's kind of teeter top. Pittsburgh got on them early, and of course the Ravens got down early. But things have changed as the schedules have changed, and that can be really significant. The Steelers had a very light schedule early in the year, which contributed to a lot of their wins that they've won over teams. And then the Ravens had a real heavy schedule in the early part of the year, where they met up with teams that were significant playoff teams, even Super Bowl caliber teams, and it made it difficult for them. Of course, Pittsburgh, their last 4 games, they lost to Buffalo in the most recent one, 26-7, and an at-home loss. That was a stinker. The Chicago Bears, in a close game, they lost 31-28. The Bengals, they actually beat them 34-12 when the Ravens lost 32-14. So that's significant when it comes to the division. Then they lost to the LA Chargers, 25-10 in a significant battle there. So the Ravens beat the Vikings 27-19. They beat the Browns 23-16. Then, of course, the Jets 23-10, and then, of course, lost to the Bengals. But you can see the difference in the last 4 games. Of course, the teams that the Ravens have played are really not that good football teams. And yet the teams that the Pittsburgh Steelers have played have been significantly better football teams. So we can contribute that to it. And hopefully we can get through it a little bit. But hopefully this is going to be one of those matchups that's going to be for the ages, and like these matchups always do, and they never cease to let us down. We're going to talk about some significant injury updates in these games. I like to point those things out because these things can have a significant impact on the game when personnel is not available. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we all know Aaron Rodgers. It's a significant injury. He's been dealing with a wrist injury where he has 3 broken bones in his wrist. He tried to play in that game against the Buffalo Bills, and we all saw that it was probably not a good idea. A lot of people thought Mason Rudolph should have played. They should have gave Aaron a little bit of a rest, and he took a vicious hit from Joey Bosa, which also gave a little bit of a shine on the top of his nose, but it did not look good, and he is scheduled to play in this game. I didn't figure he was going to miss it. He didn't miss that game, so you can pencil him in for this one. Kyle Duggar, their trade acquisition, Kyle Duggar from the Patriots, he's going to be out of this game with a hand injury. That's significant because they're already thin at the DB position, especially with the injury to the strong safety when he hurt his knee early in the year. And then, of course, some injuries to other players that they've had in the secondary. Derek Harmon, their first-round pick out of Oregon, is going to be out of this game also for the knee. That's a significant injury, especially with the rotation that the Pittsburgh Steelers like to use in their games. They like to be able to have to rotate those front 4, those defensive tackles, especially give Cam Hayward a rest. Broderick Jones is a significant injury. He's a starting left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has a neck injury. They're thinking that his season may be over. So that's significant. And who has stepped in, Spencer Anderson, who they were using in their big 13 personnel package, has now had to step in and fill in that role as a starting left tackle. So far, he's been doing a good job, but that's significant because that takes away added depth. And of course, that big, heavy 13 personnel that like to run. Then, of course, TJ Watt. TJ Watt showed up on the injury report with a toe injury that he sustained in practice. They said it's not going to stop him playing the game, so we should see TJ suit up on Saturday at noon at M&T Bank. On the Ravens side, Lamar Jackson apparently showed up on the injury report, which kind of shocked people. Of course, it was an ankle injury, and apparently he is good to go. All the other injuries they've had have been pretty much known throughout the year, nothing else significant. That's really the only one that had the injury report, but they say he's a full go and will be a full participant. So we're going to dive into the Pittsburgh Steelers offense and defense for a little bit to give you some insight on what's going on with them. Of course, we know the offense is ran by the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he is a run-heavy guy. Had Derrick Henry actually as running back when he was in Tennessee. And that way, he is trying to bring that same philosophy to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, it has not been working. A lot of people have been looking at their offense, and it's very suspect on the play caller. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have no identity. They don't throw the ball very well, and they barely run the ball very well. Even though this season has come around, they are still suffering a lot of major categories. You look at their total offense, Pittsburgh is 27th in the league in total offense. They're in the bottom half of the NFL. On their pass offense, it's 24th. Even though we've seen them score more points, they are still not an explosive offense. 24th. They're in the bottom half of the NFL when it comes to their run offense. Even though they made some significant strides, bringing in Kenneth Gainwell, and of course with Jalen Warren as a running back, rookie, they are still 28th in the National Football League. Their balance of their offense is not there. Their offense looks very predictable. That's why a lot of teams are able to stifle them, especially in some other ways. But surprisingly, one thing they had a problem with last year when they had Russell Wilson and company last year is the red zone. They are sixth in the National Football League in red zone offense. They are getting in the end zone. So if they get down to the red zone, they're getting in. Okay, that's significant. So, but we can attribute that to a lot of things that the defense is doing. I've been noticing the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers is number 20, is number 2 in the league when it comes to takeaways. They've been getting a lot of strip fumbles, and sacks, putting them on short fields. You put any team on a short field a lot, of course, they should be able to score touchdowns, some type of points. So we can attribute that to it because if we look at the offensive numbers, it's not their offense. The offense, of course, the play call. When we're talking about the play calling, one thing I noticed when studying all 22 and looking at tape, because I do study film, if you want to know, like I was a head coach. That's why they call me Coach Mike D. One of the things that's a growing thing that most teams in the NFL do very well, the Pittsburgh Steelers do not do well, is throw in the middle of the field. Middle of the field is the most vulnerable part of any defense, and the defense try to protect that part of the field because of the catch and run scenario. The guy can run a quick slant, deep dig, over route, post, and they can take it to the house, outrunning a defender, especially have grass in front of them. And when it comes to an offensive coordinator, the thing that most offensive coordinators want to do, they want to be able to take advantage of every blade of grass on that football field to keep the defense guessing, whether it's running the football, whether it's throwing bubble screens, whether it's throwing to the middle of the field, throwing check downs to the running back, throwing deep down the hash, down the red lines, they call it, throwing middle posts, deep hooks or deep ends. Anything that make the defense say, man, we don't know what they're going to do, and the route combinations should pretty much complement that. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, 18%. You heard it, 18% at throwing in the middle of the field. That is 31st in the national football. That can contribute to their offense being so predictable. If defenses know that you're not going to throw in the middle of the field, they're going to defend the outside of the field, and they're ready for everything you do. That's why when they throw the ball out there, they get tackled immediately. Of course, a lot of defenders are on the edge. That's why it's hard for the running game to get going and get to the edge when they make a bounce because the defense is already out there. So I think that they need to make significant changes there. I think that Mike Tomlin needs to make that significant change because if you heard in the press conference he did last year, he said the reason we don't throw in the middle of the field, because he was questioned about it by one of the reporters, is that it's supposed to lessen turnovers. Well, Mike Tomlin, I got some stuff for you. As much as I love you, if that's what the defense is giving, you have to take it. You have to trust that your receiver is going to get open. You got to take whatever the defense gives you. That's what we tell any quarterback. Take what the defense gives you. Well, if you ain't got nobody running in the middle of the field and everybody's bunched up on the outside, of course you're going to have a bunch of incompletions and knock down balls and tackles for short gains. You won't have any yak yards. Even though early in the year the Pittsburgh Steelers actually led the league in yak yards. They actually did a little bit, and because they threw the ball in the middle of the field. We saw that in Dublin when DK Metcalf caught a slant and went 80 some odd yards to the house. So they need to make a change there. They can take advantage of that, and that will open up their offense. When it comes to the defensive side, we all saw what happened earlier this week that they did release Darius Slay. I think he requested to be released because, as we can just be frank here, Darius Slay doesn't have the speed anymore to play that position. I think he should transition to the safety position, and the Buffalo Bills did claim him on waivers to bolster up their defense, but I think they're going to have a different role for him. I think it's going to be mostly in the safety position, but he just wasn't getting it done when Pittsburgh was trying to change from last year, playing more man-to-man. He just had good speed to keep up with guys. We saw that first, and it was glowing and evident when they played the Bengals, and Jamar Chase just had a field day for the franchise record in catches and receiving yards. So, he's gone, and of course, they did acquire Asante Samuel Jr. who of course is the son of the great cornerback Asante Samuel Sr., who played with Sam Madison with the Miami Dolphins, was a perennial Pro Bowler, and their son played with the LA Chargers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers picked him up, hoping to bolster up and get them a young guy on the edge that can play bumper run and man to help that pass rush get home. Of course, they got to be able to find a way to stop Derrick Henry. I think there's going to be an emphasis in Terrell Austin, but Terrell Austin got to get more creative with his offense, and not being too much run, too much man, and try to figure out a way to make his defense more pliable. Because right now they are getting their butts handed to them. But in that game against Buffalo, they just played. The defense actually played very well. The offense is the one that let us down. You can't put an offense on a defense on the field all day long, expect them to do anything. And expect TJ Watt and company to come to play. This game is always a good one. They're going to have to find a way to get some offense going, and that's what we see. But let's go over to the Baltimore Ravens. So the Baltimore Ravens are 6-6 like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lamar Jackson has been riddled with injuries this year. He's not been looking himself, and the numbers show. I mean, he is right now having a career low in rushing. We're talking about a perennial rushing quarterback who's been one of the best in NFL history in running the football. Right now, he has 264 yards all year. That's his lowest for his career. 264 yards. Now, he did miss some games with a hamstring. Give him a little bit of grace. He did have some had to miss some games with that, but still, he was still not on pace to get normally his 700 yards or even 1,000 yards that he normally gets. And we've seen a significant change of him. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, has been called a lot of passing plays, but not too many run-heavy plays, and that could be attributing to Lamar Jackson's scrambling. Now, his off-schedule stuff has not been happening either. Lamar Jackson's been known for his off-schedule plays where he gets out of containment, breaks the pocket, runs, and makes gashing runs that makes the defense keep him off balance. That's not been happening. He's been holding on to the ball in significant numbers, and guess what? It's also been affecting his passing. Now, Lamar Jackson, if you guys didn't know, this year passed Aaron Rodgers as number one in NFL history on the passer rating list. He just did that this year, but his QBR has been suffering in the last 5 games. It's been almost atrocious. Even though they won some games, Lamar has been looking very junior varsity, not varsity. Besides the Miami Dolphin game, they had a QBR of 93. When they played the Minnesota Vikings, it was 45. When they played Cleveland Browns, it was 28. When they played the Jets, it was 35. When they played the Bengals, it was a whopping low of 22. Yes, you guessed it, 22. So when you look at a quarterback, and it's significant how he affects the game, that's why they look at QBR. Now, it's not the all be all. They did win a lot of these games, but your quarterback is not looking sharp. He's not making good decisions with the ball, holding balls, throwing interceptions, and turning over the ball. Well, let's look at that too. He's also taken a lot of sacks. He's had 12 sacks in that 5-game stretch. He's had 12 sacks. He had one game against the Cleveland Browns. He got sacked 5 times. Again, can't do that. You're going to be against good teams. They're going to beat you. Luckily, they play the Cleveland Browns, who have no sentiment of an offense. But when you play against the good teams, that can be a problem on short fields, long and down distances, long, and you will not be winning a lot of games. And happened to them early in the year where they were having fumbles and turnovers. But let's talk about that. In the last 5 games, he's turned the ball over 6 times. That may not be significant, but look at the turnovers. He's had 3 fumbles and 3 interceptions. That is, again, uncharacteristic. But Lamar Jackson had an issue with interceptions and fumbles early in his career that we thought he fixed, especially last year in his MVP candidacy. He did slow that down, but that could become an issue. And now you're coming against Pittsburgh, who is the number 2 team in takeaways in the National Football League. And on that injury report, we had an ankle problem. And a lot of people have discussed rumors that Lamar Jackson's still hurt. They still think his shoulders bothering him. They think his ankle and knee is still bothering him. And that's why he's been reluctant to run. You think the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't licking their chops about that? They're going to try to find a way to heat him up and get to him and try to get some takeaways because he is susceptible to fumbling and throwing interceptions. Okay? Now let's look at Derrick Henry. Now when it comes to Derrick Henry, his usage has been a gaping issue. A lot of people talking about why would you go get Derrick Henry and not use Derrick Henry? Well, besides a couple of games played a year, he's been having up and down times. There are times they go into games, they get real pass happy, and they don't run the ball. Even though in the NFL, they are the number 4 team in rushing. If you saw them some games, you would think they were. Well, Derrick Henry's used to become an issue. Against the Bengals, he had 60 yards, 10 carries, 60 yards. They lost that game. Against the Jets, they won, but he had 20 carries, 64 yards. Against the Browns, he did crack the 100-yard mark. Against a very good defense, he gassed him a couple times, but he only had 10 carries. Against Minnesota, 20 carries, 75 yards. And then Miami had 19 carries for 119. So he had 2 games of over 100 yards, but again, when you look at his use and pace, let's go back to last year. Last year, Derrick Henry was on pace at this point in the year to rush 2,200 yards, would have broke the NFL record held by Eric Dickerson. Okay, he would have broke that yard by long shots. Well, this year he's only on pace to rush 1,500 yards. So there is your usage issue. So they have to find a way to give Derrick Henry the ball and get back to that when they led the National Football League in rushing when last year, the year before, when they brought Derrick Henry on over. So teams know that if they can get them in short down distance, right now Todd Monken is willing to throw the ball and not run it, and that plays right to the hand of a defense like Pittsburgh, who likes to get to the quarterback and who has a history of getting to Lamar Jackson and making him turn the ball over. So the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, of course, is Zach Orr. Zach Orr runs a base defense, a 3-4 type defense that he runs. And right now, their defense is still reeling as well. Like I said, both these teams have issues. When it comes to their defense, they are 26th in total defense. They are 25th pass and run defense. They're 18th. In red zone, they are probably 6th in the National Football League, which is very good. And they're third. On third down, they're 10th. So they do a good job in certain areas, but sometimes it doesn't look like it, especially early in the year when they played against premier competition. But Zach Orr is a guy that likes to eat you, play very aggressive and hits, and teams take advantage of that. But they've been also out of position. This defense is very aggressive. They overrun plays. They miss tackles. They miss assignments. And that's why, in some cases, yes, their overall is good, but when they this field down, for some reason, they get disciplined. And that's why in the red zone, they're 6th. But you can take advantage of them in the open field because they're very aggressive. Of course, if you can find a way to keep your eyes on Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey is one of the most aggressive corners in the league. If you can keep them at reps, you might be able to do something. And of course, block Roquan Smith. They've had a slew of injuries on defense, and also a slew of great players, some players to trades and free agency, but then some in terms of major injuries. So we'll see how that goes and how that. But those are some things that we look at throughout the game. So here's a little bit of a key I think the team should do to try to win this football game. So let's look at Pittsburgh first. Pittsburgh has to find a way to get big plays and sustain drives. That's been their issue. Their defense is on the field too long because the offense goes third and out a whole lot. I think they're almost number 1 in the National Football League in third and outs. I think they are. They don't sustain drives at all. And of course, that can be contributed to the play calling. It's very pedestrian, very conservative, very predictable. Nothing off schedule. We got to get DK Metcalf the ball. Adam Thielen and Van Dale Scanlon. It's time to get them involved in this stuff. We just traded for him and Marquez Van Dale Scanlon. We have an issue when it comes to the second receiver position. Just to give an example, we had George Pickens earlier in the year that we traded for the Steelers. A lot of people did not like that, me included. I felt like, hey, let's keep him. You're going to bring Aaron Rodgers in here. Let's make sure he has a receiving core. And we would have probably had one of the best in the league. You see what now he's doing with him and CeeDee Lamb. We have almost 2 number 1s on the same team. George Pickens right now has more yards on the Dallas Cowboys than all of the receivers the Pittsburgh Steelers combined. That is unbelievable. So that's contributed to pedestrian offense. So we got to find a way to do that. We thought at the trade deadline they were going to go get a number 2 receiver. It's been a gaping issue. Yes, they kept Calvin Austin. He started the year off pretty good. Let's be frank here. He's not a number 2. He's number 3 at the best slot guy to put pressure on the middle and a threat to catch and go. So let's find a way to get some guys on the edge that can run routes. Adam Thielen has historically been a great route runner. I don't know if he's going to make any simple changes, and whatever Valdez Scanlon can do, let's put him out there and see what happens to try to give Aaron Rodgers some help. But we got to get the ball out to these guys because he's getting hit because guys can't get over. Okay. Use Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren's having a hell of a year this year. In both statistical catching the ball and receiving, he's one of the best blocking running backs in the National Football League, and he has run the ball a significant clip. Kenneth Gainwell's been a hell of a addition, but Jalen Warren is our number 1. You got to make sure he gets the ball. And of course, I said earlier, throw to the middle of the field where we got to put a on an L route or over routes with tight ends, wide receivers, down also speeds across the middle. But we got to utilize the middle of the field. Use every blade of grass to beat this team. And of course, on defense, we got to stop Derrick Henry because they're going to try to give Derrick Henry the ball. We make them one-dimensional and try to get at Lamar Jackson. We beat them early in the year and we played them early, and that's what happened. We stopped Derrick Henry. Of course, when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens need to heat up Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers right now is hurt with a left wrist injury, and of course he's 47 years old. He's not as mobile as he used to be. They're going to heat him up. They can come after him. Make sure that line, especially on the left side of the line, where they lost Broderick Jones. Yes, Spencer in there, but he's a backup. Let's see how good that backup is, and let's go ahead and heat up Aaron Rodgers and get him off his mark. Give Derrick Henry the ball. Let's feed the beast. We're dominant for a reason. Pittsburgh is still grilling on their running run defense. It is 17th in the league, but it's not top tier. So we need to make sure that we give Derrick Henry the ball. Protect Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, they're going to have issues. They're coming after him, trying to make sure that he can get whatever he does. They need to come after him significantly to make sure that we can get him on what he's trying to do, because he is the key to make that engine start and of course make it go. And then of course, Lamar Jackson got to protect the football. As I told you earlier, in the last 12 games, the last 5 games, he's had significant turnovers. 6. So we got to find a way to protect the ball because TJ Watt and company, they love to do them strip sacks and force interceptions. We got to find a way to do that to make sure that he does not turn the ball. So there you have it. But hey, somebody got to win the game. Somebody got to come in line. It's been going on for now 63 times. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I said I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan, and I ain't going against them Ravens. I got them winning 24-20 in a late game, on a late drive by Aaron Rodgers, run the ball in by Jalen Warren, and taking the lead, and then we get a field goal from our great kicker, Chris Boswell. And there you have it, guys. That's all I have. So make sure you please like, comment, and subscribe here, and make sure you share this video out to the public. And again, Nosebleed Nation, I want to definitely thank you again for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. Now, hey, let's get us to 5,000. That's our next milestone. We're going to be bringing great content to you guys. And keep watching. We're going to have some college football matchups. And stay tuned as well, because we're going to talk about the East St. Louis Flyers State Championship game, how that went down, and kind of break that down. So stay tuned for that. Until then, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. And we'll talk again really soon. And of course, if nobody ever told you, you know that we love you. We know we appreciate you, because we do this for the people that's in the nosebleed section. No seats, no stadiums. So like, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good day and be safe. Again, peace.